Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace, small town Canadian, coming to you from Vancouver Island in Canada. Hope you're doing amazing, fantastic, spectaculational even. I just made up that word. Let's get on to it. This video is titled Why I Moved to the Netherlands and What I Learned. Of course, everybody I think kind of plays with that idea at some point in their life of like moving away, and there's probably two groups of people, and then within those two groups, subsections of other people that move away from where they're born or the city that they grew up in. There's people that leave, right? They want to get out. They want to go and explore the world and, go to the big city, and I got to escape this horrible place. And a lot of people grow up in terrible places. I think I'm very fantastically lucky to have grown up in the place that I did. We have pretty incredible weather, really incredible recreational activities. My parents afforded me so many opportunities that I'm so happy for. I'm so grateful for them, for all of the things and opportunities that I had. And that's all that you can hope, I guess, when for children and for people in your community, young people, is to give them opportunities to do things and give them opportunities opportunities as well as choice, right? To do different things that they're interested in, to pursue higher education, to pursue really whatever they want. Just give them that safety and opportunity. And I think I had all of those things. And, I've primarily stayed in the same area that I grew up. I did move away for a while, but I was drawn back. As soon as I got out, they pulled me back in. That's not the correct. I was kind of paraphrasing Al Pacino from The Godfather Part 3 there, but didn't do it very well. Let's get into this. This is expat obviously moved to the Netherlands, and she's going to give us the Netherlands. The Weatherlands. It could be the Weatherlands. No, but the Netherlands. Let's get into this.
I can imagine that you clicked on this video because you are either considering moving abroad, or you yourself just moved and want to hear stories about others' relocation experiences, or you want to get to know me. Get comfortable and let's have a raw and personal chat about my relocation to the Netherlands. So let's first see.
I'm not 100% sure where she's from. Like Russia, maybe? No, maybe not Russia.
Where I am today.
Eastern.
I live in Eindhoven. I work at a software company as a brand manager. I'm a coach. I work with brands, I organize deep and soulful events, and of course I make content.
What's a cacao ceremony? The dark side of relocating to the Netherlands. Okay.
For this YouTube channel and for my Instagram.
Would you say a software company?
Now, let's
brand
go
manager?
Back to 2016. I was in Russia.
We were all sweet summer children in 2016. Man, life was simple. Life was grand. Life was great. And 2020 happened. 2020 happened. And 5 years goes by.
Just finished my semester abroad in Germany and really wanted to come back to Germany. But the university in Amsterdam offered me a scholarship, and that was a decision point. To be honest with you, there was not much consideration besides the financial aspect of it, because the move for an average non-EU person is already very tough. So if I can get a university to financially support me, I'm gonna take it. So I moved to Amsterdam when I was 21, 22. And I thought, let's see. And I think this is the best approach in your 20s, because 20s are to explore, say yes to a lot of things, take risks. So I'm really happy I did it. For me, the most painful part of it was to leave my family. At that time, I was very close with my mom. But my mom is a very wise woman. At that time, she told me, go. And if you don't like it there, you can always go back home. So if this helps, if you are reflecting on your recent move or just thinking if you should move or not, remember that you can always go home if things go south. When I just arrived in Amsterdam, one thing I wish I did different.
And I think we have to remember, like her, myself, and people, you're privileged if you have that ability to just, I don't really like it here. I'm just going to go home. A lot of people wouldn't have the privilege in the first place to move to another country. So all of this, it kind of comes from a place of privilege. And I think using that privilege for good, and more so, I think just not forgetting and keeping that, be mindful of that. I would say that you're very lucky and privileged to be able to move to another country to go to university, right? There's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to do that for a myriad of reasons. So pretty cool that you can do it and make the most of it, obviously.
Place that I would ask locals for cheaper stores. As a newcomer, I immediately needed things for home, such as a brush, mop, plates, nothing fancy, simple
That's just
things,
inflation.
but I
It's
spent
worldwide.
a fortune on them. I wasn't sure if the prices that I saw at the stores were realistic or not, so I just went with that. And only later I discovered that with cheaper options like Action, for example, I could have saved myself a lot of money. I know, whenever I say Action, there are always people in comments saying, oh, don't go there, they're selling cheap trash. But you guys missing the point.
So this would be like the No Name brand in Canada. That's a cool building. Is that in the Netherlands? I really like that with the trees on there. It's cool just aesthetically, but I think having trees and greenery around is good for people's mental health as well. So she's mentioning a store called Action. We have a store that just opened up in my hometown actually called No Frills, which primarily sells products from a brand called No Name. And they're kind of cheap, lower quality products, but good for a lot of people to be able to afford, right? To her point of things being really expensive, inflation, I think, is not unique to any one specific area right now. It's kind of worldwide, and wealth inequality continues to grow. We're not really on a sustainable course right now. I don't know how that's going to end up. Probably the results, the results are kind of in the fruits of what we've been seeing all around the world with protests and civil unrest, and people are getting fed up with the wealth inequality and billionaires kind of hoarding and extracting wealth from the lower classes continually.
If you have your own house, or if you're renting a fancy place, of course you want to buy something of a better quality. But if you are a student living with other, 10, 15 people in a dormitory, if you just came here and you're like, I don't know if I want to stay long term, you just need basic stuff. And these basic things you can find at Action. So here is the list of cheaper alternatives, and if you guys know more, please let us know in the comments below. By the way, if you are getting value from this video, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. This means more to me than you can ever imagine. Back to my story. There I was, a non-EU person living in Amsterdam, wondering if I could ever find a job or if I'd end up getting kicked out of the country. Eventually I found a job in Eindhoven, so I had to move again. In the past 8 years in the Netherlands, I had to move 7 times, which taught me to be okay with asking for help. And
damn, she had to move 7 times in how many years? That's stressful. I hate moving. It's terrible.
And how to do it respectfully. In Russia, I have my family, of course, who would gladly help me. In the Netherlands, it's not the case. So whenever I need help, I try to make my ask as explicit as possible. So I think carefully what I need from a person in terms of time commitment and workload. I still sometimes feel weird about asking for help because I don't want to feel like a burden, but I try to think about it this way. I made my ask as clear as possible so another person knows what they're signing up for, and if they don't want to help,
I think sometimes we get self-conscious about asking people for help when in reality people like helping. Not everybody, of course, but if somebody asks me for help, I'm likely going to help them out. And that's not because I feel like I feel too awkward to say no. It's just because I'm glad to help. What else am I doing? Sitting here making YouTube videos. Yeah, I'm gonna help, right? Come on.
I can always say no. We often talk about thought-provoking topics.
Mental health support for expats.
On my Instagram. I'm very active there and shed light on topics such as loneliness abroad, how to ask for help, how to become friends with the Dutch, learning the Dutch language, and many more. So that job in Eindhoven was in business development. That was absolutely not my cup of tea. But when you are young, you don't necessarily...
I've seen quite a few, to her point of making friends. Oh, I thought it was frozen for a second, sorry. Or loneliness, or befriending Dutchies, or befriending anybody, essentially. You need to get off social media and go out and find things that you enjoy doing, whether it be a hobby. If you like hiking, join a hiking group. If you like playing board games, join a weekly board game. There's so many things, so many places. Classes at the gym, basically classes, hobbies, places where you can connect with people that have similar interests, or in more or less a similar age group. And that's the thing with friendships, right? It all boils down essentially to proximity, and there's going to be fluctuations within that, because you're going to be still friends with people that do not live within your proximity. They might live across the entire country, but when you talk to them on the phone, or you see them 4 years later, it's like no time has gone by, and it's just the same thing. Those are kind of like those lifelong friends. But proximity and interest and life situations are kind of the things that will draw people together. And your friend group, you think about it as in high school or middle school, whatever type of school. You're spending a huge amount of time with the same individuals. You're doing similar activities. You're seeing them all the time. It's much easier to get together. You graduate high school, you go off to university. People go to different universities. People move to different cities. And you kind of drift apart. And that's just obviously a reality of life. There's always opportunities for people to weave and come back into your life. And I think it's good to understand, like, friends that you haven't talked to in many years, they would love to hear from you, right? Like, unless you're incredibly introverted, like me.
Necessarily know what you want to do. I subconsciously knew that I did not like that job, but I did not dare to admit it to myself fully. And still, I wanted to fill my life with things that I truly enjoy doing. So kind of naturally, I started developing my own projects on the side. I wrote a book which later became a bestseller on Amazon. I designed a journal that I still to this day believe it's the best product in the market. It's so well thought out, and it's of such an amazing quality that no mass market producer would ever invest in, because
Smart. Plugging her own stuff on her video. Very smart marketing.
it's just not financially viable. Only crazy individuals like me would do that.
She got links in the description for this book.
In the video description below if you want to
Coaching
check it
services.
out. If I'm
Yeah.
being very honest with you and myself, I wish I worked with a coach that time. I would want
good for her.
someone who can
I
help
like the
me
ambition. It's great.
understand what possibilities exist, gain exposure to various fields through someone else's experience, and do a deep dive into myself, my interests and passions. A few sessions with a good coach could have saved me so much disappointment and could have helped me carve out a plan and a direction for myself much sooner. At some point, that business development job got so draining that I could no longer ignore it, so I chose to pivot into marketing. This choice was not random at all, because while managing my own business, I discovered that I not only enjoyed marketing, but I was also very good at it. So I went ahead with it. It took me a couple of tries to find a job, because the job market in the Netherlands is tough. If you're now or did
I don't really understand, like, what somebody does in marketing. What is it you would say that you actually do here? Anybody ever seen Office Space? I feel like I would be inhabiting one of the Bobs from Office Space. Be like, so what is it you would say that you actually do here? There's that famous scene in Office Space where the Bobs, they ask one of the employees who, let's just say, doesn't do much during his shift. They ask, like, so what do you do? And he's like, well, I deal with the customers. And they're like, you talk to the customers directly? He's like, well, no, my secretary does that. And then they make complaints and they send them to her. And they say, okay, so you're not a people person, you don't talk to customers. Oh, it's so amazing. You guys need to go watch it. Watch it on YouTube right now. Search Office Space The Bobs. Check it out.
in the past face rejections, it's all normal. I've had it, you've had it, we've all had it. I had a couple of situations where I got to the final stage of the hiring process. Everyone was super excited about hiring me. Everything looked very promising. But then they would decide that they don't even need this position. Or they would be like, hey, you're amazing, and now we're choosing between you and this person. And this person happens to live closer to the office, or is a native Dutch, or any other reason. So what I would advise you is...
Rejections are a good thing. That means you're trying, you're doing things, you're going out there, you're and they only make you stronger, right? They galvanize your resolve.
Is to have someone in your corner during this process, to have someone cheer for you. And ideally, it would be someone who also understands the job market so they can guide you through this a little bit. I have a video packed with career advice. You can watch it somewhere here if that's what you need right now. When I moved to the Netherlands, I moved as a student, so it was very easy to meet people. But when I moved to Eindhoven for a job, I wish I spent more time building my social circle. At that time, I still had a lot of friends from Russia, so I spent hours on the phone with them. But it's so important to have people in your location too. When I developed a close circle of friends in the Netherlands,
she has an interesting video, but I feel like it's not necessarily anything specific to the Netherlands. It's more so just the topic is more so about moving abroad and things that might help people that are moving abroad. I caught her on a bad pause here.
it made me feel safe and integrated. It made me feel like I have something to hold on to. If I need help or support or just something simple as, hey, let's go for a walk or let's do something together, I have real people I can rely on. By the way, I don't mean to break connection with your homeland friends purely on this basis. Sometimes it does happen that once we move to another country, we sort of like grow apart with the people who stay there. But I do think that
naturally
we should have more than just these virtual people in our lives. One way to meet like-minded people is through activities. I organize cacao ceremonies.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier in the video, so yeah.
So if my vibe resonates with you, then there is a higher chance that at the ceremony you would be able to meet with people you can truly connect with. I will leave the link to the ceremony in the video description below. I always say that the Netherlands was not the love from the first sight. I struggled a lot before this country extended its love and acceptance, but now I found my place here. If you want to follow along my journey, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and
good stuff. She does make some good points, and she kind of, I mentioned earlier about meeting people, meeting friends and connections and things like that. Like I said, I think her video is more so about moving abroad. So it's like, it would be why I moved abroad and what I learned from moving abroad. I didn't really find anything to be specific to the Netherlands within the video, but interesting nonetheless anyways. So good stuff. All right. We'll see you all soon. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you wish. Subscribe to the video, and that's about it. I was gonna say, like, I find it interesting because obviously so many YouTubers, and one of the things on YouTube or essentially any platform like this is you ask people to subscribe, or you ask people to comment, or you ask them to like, you ask them for help with the algorithm. I'm curious if actually doing that on a consistent basis for every piece of video, every content, actually statistically improves the number of subscribers that people get, or probably subconsciously, or it does, I guess, over time, because people then think about it. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. All right, see you very soon.